Hello, everybody, and welcome to Call of Cthulhu, the 11th hour. The Dice Cult is happy to present this. So, first things first, a little bit of warning here. This is a horror game. We are going to have some possibly mature content. Some stuff that isn't so happy, isn't so feely. We will be dealing with murders and people going crazy, and who knows where exactly that might go from there. The horror descriptions will be going out of your way to. Oh, we lost. There you go. For those of you who do not know my cast and crew here, we will start at the top of the screen with Mac. Mac, tell us who you're going to be playing.
Well, this evening I'm going to be playing
With ghosts.
Patty Augustine Miller. I'm an entertainer. I sing, I act, do a little bit of everything, a little bit of bartending on the side, mostly for myself and my friends. Just making my way in the world, as are we all.
All right. Fantastic. Sai, tell us who you're going to be playing.
Hi. Well, I will be playing Yori Usuka, or Yori. From born in Tokyo, went to the West Coast, and when they were 10 years old, I'll be playing a non-binary botanist.
Ooh.
And went to Philadelphia. No, wait, went to Harvard. They were sent to Harvard by their rich parents, and ended up working in Philadelphia for a bit before receiving this mysterious letter.
Ooh.
And you,
A letter, you
Jillian,
say?
who are you playing?
Me?
Yeah!
Woo! Darling, today I'm going to be playing Gussie Jean Miller, sister to a particular other Miller. We went separate paths. I'm not exactly an actress and singer, but honestly, not even in the U.S. that much. I'm an explorer, an adventurer, an archaeologist, a learned traveling woman. And I also have a book. If you're interested, I'm sure I'll sign it if you ask.
You never were one to pass up a signing, sissy.
I will sign literally anything.
I know you will. I know you have.
I don't want to
we have another renowned artist amongst us, I believe. Kyle, tell us who you are playing.
I'm H. Avery Emerson. You've probably read some of my works. You might have even seen me in cafes or bars of Paris or Havana, Cuba. Heavy drinking, hard writing, successful author.
What?
And here to see where adventure takes me and get past this writer's block that I'm up against.
Indeed.
Ooh, writer's block.
All of our guests tonight have received a letter from a Mr. Theron Marks. For their own reasons, they've chosen to come to Arkham, Massachusetts, sitting in the northeast corner of Massachusetts, and they have arrived by train, mostly, into this community, and proceed to 333 West Derby Street, where, as they're taking the cab up to the area, they see that this area appears to be an old money area. The houses are quite large, and appear to be 50, 60 years old or so. You drive past the square, and off to your right you see a large memorial, an obelisk that has been set there in a park. And as you turn onto Derby Street, you see that some of the homes are well maintained, and the further west you go on Derby Street, you see that the money continues to get a little bit larger. You are arriving individually. First, Gussie, you have arrived, and you pull up and see a magnificent mansion. It appears to be 3 stories tall, probably newer than most. There's distinctly a feel of a London Victorian feel to this home over the others, and so as you are coming up the walk, it is the paving stones are there, and the stairs coming up, the pillars hold off to the side for the they've got a porch that is completely covered so that you could walk the entirety of the grounds. The thing that is most surprising to you as you walk up, you notice that there is a door knocker, and the door knocker is in the shape of a circle with a 5-pointed star, but the star is not. With your occult history and knowledge, you're aware that of the pentagram and what it normally represents, but this one, it is not linear like most. It is curved, and as if someone was drunk as they were trying to draw their straight lines. And in the center, where the pentagram the pentagon in the middle would be for a true pentagram, you see a line. It almost looks like an eye opening to look at you.
Interesting.
And it is the knocker on the front door.
Well, I'm going to take a deep breath and kind of compose myself, because I feel I at least want to look like this isn't a bit scary. So I'm going to kind of bow up a bit, and I look to the knocker, and as I reach forward, I stop, and I'm just going to pull my sleeve up a bit. And I'm going to use my sleeve between me and the knocker, and then I'm going to knock on the door and then kind of readjust myself.
Shortly after knocking on the door, a tall, older man opens the door. He is dressed very nicely. With your knowledge of servants, you can tell that this is the man, the servant man of this house. And he opens the door and he says, "Ah, Miss Gussie, a pleasure to see you.
Of
Please,
course.
come in. Mr. Marks is waiting for a few other guests. Please, to the parlor. Would you prefer wine, whiskey, scotch?"
I thank you for asking, darling. I think for now I'll stay a bit dry, if that's all right.
Tea.
Tea would be lovely.
Fantastic. I will bring you some tea. And he motions with his arm off to the side, and you're getting a glance around. We are going to have our first roll of the day. Make a spot hidden check.
Spot hidden check. Here we go. Oh, I'm so excited. First roll. Ugh.
Oh no!
I go blind instantly.
Oh no!
No, it's fine. Not a big deal.
Is it? Is it?
No, it's fine. You, so, as you're looking, you see that quite a bit of money has been put into this home. The woodwork is well maintained and well oiled. And just looking up, you can see that there's a grand stairwell as you're walking in that walks up, and then as it hits the second floor, it curls off to both sides of the home. He motions you to the left. You can see expensive pieces of art hanging above the top of the stair. Some kind of portrait. You're not sure who or what it is of, but just from looking at it, it's lit. You notice the house has electric lighting. It has been refit so that it is not gaslit. Which is, right now, about half of households are still gaslit. So, but not surprising looking at the wealth. As you walk in, you can see that the sofa in here are plush. There's a fireplace, and the rugs appear to be from overseas. You're guessing Persian. And you sit down, and shortly the manservant comes in and he says, I am Reginald. If you need anything, feel free to call. And you can see there's a little bell to ring sitting on the end table.
I smile to him and I give it like a little ring, like, I promise if I need anything. And I set it down.
The next to arrive is Iori. You experience a similar look as you're coming up to the front walk, and the door knocker is certainly something you've never seen before. In all of your academia and times in Harvard, you've seen many, many symbols, and this one strikes you as just plain odd.
It is a little strange. I will just knock on the knocker.
As you open the door, the older gentleman opens it up, and he says, "Ah, our scientist. I believe you are Mr. Iori?"
Mixter. Iori.
Iori.
Yes.
My apologies. Please, follow me. I have tea already in the parlor. Would you prefer scotch, whiskey, wine?
No thanks. I like tea.
Very well. He brings you into the parlor, and in there, Gussie, why don't you go ahead and describe yourself a little bit more?
All right. When you look at Gussie, I would say it's not like, those moments where you like imagine those women and their like hair blows back and it's just like, wow, they're gorgeous. That isn't Gussie. She is very proud looking. She's very solid and sturdy. I think her personality and her energy are what make her stand out. But besides that, she is a young woman around 30, late 20s in appearance, long dark hair, and a bit cheeky, wearing pants.
Oh.
And she
Iori.
has, around her neck, she is wearing a little clay necklace of a cat.
Okay.
Iori,
So-
make a spot hidden check.
Okay. Let us do that and hope I succeed.
You succeed. So, what you notice most immediately about this clay necklace, just in glancing at it, it appears to be a cat, although it has 6 legs.
Oh. I think Iori will just find a seat somewhere.
Sure, and
Are you seated?
Yes, I'm sitting.
tell us a little bit more about how Iori looks.
Iori definitely has hair, short and quite manicured looking hair. Has a little flower as well, and is generally dressed as pretty much how I look at the moment, almost. So Iori will take a seat perpendicular to Gussie and say, I don't suppose you are one of the other guests for tonight?
I think that would be an appropriate deduction. I don't know how many there are going to be. It could just be us, but that doesn't seem much like a party, honestly.
Very well. I will be examining Gussie head to toe, but silently, like
Yeah.
trying to see what this person is about.
Sure. Avery, you are next to arrive.
So Avery takes a little while to make his way up the walk. Walks with a cane and a heavy limp. Injury sustained in World War One. He makes it up to the door. He's got a little chill in his bones. He's not exactly dressed appropriately for the season. Just wearing comfortable, casual clothes. But he's just come from the from the French Riviera. So he's not quite sure what he's doing here in Arkham in New England, but
Especially in late April.
yeah. So climbs the step up to the house, and he's not gonna use the knocker. He's gonna use the end of his cane to rap on the door.
All right. The door opens, and the manservant opens it, and he says, greetings, Mr. Emerson. We have read, I particularly have read all of your novels. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Are you Marx?
No, I am but his servant. Please, right this way. Would you like some scotch or whiskey?
Scotch and water, please. Make it a
Excellent.
double.
Excellent. I will bring it to you. Please, our guests are already arrived, or at least some of them. We are waiting on one more yet. The parlor is right this way. And he leads you in there. You see the lady Gussie as well as Yori, although you have not been introduced to them yet.
Right.
And is there anything remarkable about you that folks would notice as you walk in?
Avery's middle-aged, little on the heavier side. Walks with a pronounced limp on his right side. Needs a cane to walk. Very nondescript looking man. You would think he was any other man, unless you happen to see his photograph on the liner notes of one of his novels. He's enjoyed some commercial success, so he's not a complete unknown in the literary community and outside. But how many of your favorite authors could you recognize by sight? He's gonna tip the doorman.
And Reginald takes your tip and puts it in his pocket. And
Oh wow.
Patty, last but surely not least, you are fashionably late. The three of you are
naturally. What else can I be?
That's right. The three of you are sitting there, and Reginald comes in, asks if anyone needs drinks refreshed, and says, "Our last guest is running a little late. Certain she will be here shortly."
Oh, good. I'm glad there's going to be another woman.
Quite. I'm sure it will be a very pleasant experience.
Oh, I'm positive.
Sorry, I am spoiling for the viewers.
It's going to be grand.
So, Patty, you arrive at this lavish mansion. You've been at a few that are this nice for some of the parties you've been to, but this one is definitely top tier.
It pulled out all the stops. Gotta say, I'm impressed.
Most of the other ones, as you were driving
walking
by,
up to. Sorry.
no, most of the other mansions, you're comparing it to Boston and where some of the areas you've traveled through, and most of this town is run down compared to the up and comers and the new money in Boston. But this one here would fit in.
Well appreciated and well tended. Man of the house certainly seems to know what he's doing, if nothing else, or his housekeeper does. I'm interested to pay a visit.
As you walk up the stairs, you see the knocker, and as strange as it looks, I want you to go ahead and make a roll on your skill that only you have.
I will.
You do not recognize it.
I do not. How odd.
Although,
Seems like he got his star upside down.
as you are staring at it, the door opens. You do not even have to knock.
Oh,
And
goodness gracious, I'm so sorry.
An elderly gentleman, you're guessing with his attire is probably a manservant, opens it up and says, "Ah, all the rest of the guests have arrived, and it is great to see you. Please come in."
I'm terribly sorry for keeping everyone waiting.
"Oh,
Had some trouble with my car.
of course."
These finicky new automobiles. Telling you, they're death traps.
Gussie, make me a listen check.
All right.
All right. you hear nothing, which is fine, which is great. That's great that you hear nothing. The three of you hear the doorbell. The doorman, Reginald, is speaking to someone, and Reginald holds his arm out to you, Patty, to escort you to the parlor. What can I get you to drink, ma'am?
Well, I have been fancying a new drink that I've heard about based on that silent film Matador flick. Blood and Sand. Do you have any blood oranges in your kitchen?
Well, I have quite a selection. Let me go check, and in the meantime, there is tea available, and you shall meet our guests. So,
Honestly, if I could get just a bit of coffee, just to perk me up for the party, that would be wonderful to start with.
I will make it, absolutely. So, Gussie and Patty, I would like you both to make spot hidden checks to see who spots who first. Oh, well,
Ooh.
Gussie's busy playing with her cat medallion.
Oh, it's a shame. It's a shame. Let's see. There I am.
Oh,
Nope.
you both. So neither of you spot each other first. So, as Reginald escorts you in, you're just admiring how the very, very lavishly appointed home, and Reginald says, "All the guests have arrived. Please get to know each other. Although I believe, ladies, you've met." And
I choke on my tea instantly. Just like
Are you... Gussie?
Pat, darling.
Hun, I think you might be at the wrong party.
I think you might be quite mistaken. I think you. Why would?
Now, hold on. You said that you were going to be talking with a colleague of yours. Is Mr. Theron Marks a colleague of yours?
Well, darling, he's not exactly a colleague, but he could be in the future. It's still business. It's
Okay.
colleague enough.
Now that everyone's here, I think we should introduce ourselves. It seems you two know each other already. But,
Maybe not.
Well,
perhaps.
I mean,
Well, I will begin. My name is Yoryu Osuka. I am a botanist stationed in Philadelphia at the moment, and I was sent here also by Mr. Marks.
See, a botanist makes sense.
Does it?
I could see about this. For certain.
But I am not fully certain what it is you do, the three of you. I was expecting other scientists, to be quite honest.
Well, I confess I wasn't expecting much of anybody of quite so concrete a line of study. Now, Gussie, I can understand some of the reading she's done. Not sure I quite get the botanist, and sir, I'm afraid I simply have not made your acquaintance, or I cannot place your face.
H. Avery Emerson. I'm an author. You might have read
The
some
writer.
of my work. The writer, yes. Well, I was. I haven't written in a while.
Oh, how exciting.
Well, we all get dry spots on occasion, but I'm sure you'll find your inspiration again.
Gus Miller.
Yeah.
I own your book. I thought you looked familiar. I've never read it.
I'll take it. I get the money if you read it or not. But I do recommend reading it. It is truly a spectacle. Not to toot my own horn, but it's a good read.
I look forward to it. I just have quite the backlog, and I've been trying to keep myself
Of course.
busy and engaged.
Of course, I can tell.
I think I have seen both of your books, but with a younger crowd. It is not. Both of them are not really present on the shelves of the more tenured academe. But maybe in time that will happen.
Oh, I don't want to be on any old man shelf, I'll tell you what.
It's the last thing Gussie would ever want, I can tell you that much.
Yes, I can understand why a botanist is here. I'm not exactly sure. This is not to dash anyone's credibility or anything. I've traveled the world. I've been in archaeology for quite some time, been to ruins, and I don't understand, once again, I mean this as kindly as possible, why an author and an actress might be amongst this company. Honestly, maybe the botanist and I are the wrong men out, that maybe we don't fit as well. Honestly, I don't exactly know what's going on.
Do any of you actually know
I was
Marx?
given. I received word from him regarding a matter that has personal interest for me. I was told to meet him for dinner at his house, and that others would be present who may have some either experience or interest in similar matters, and said that it might be valuable for all of us to be present at once.
Is it matters I'm aware of? I'm just curious, just so I'm on the right page.
And say, again?
Are these matters I'm aware of? I'm just trying to make sure I'm on the page.
Yes, I imagine you would be very, we mentioned it in passing at lunch.
Of course. All right. I understand why you're here then. Makes me
Have any of you actually met Marx? About a month ago, I was on the left bank and started asking questions of a friend of mine from French Indochina, Mr. Wynn, what he knew of the catacombs beneath the city. He introduced me to a Turkish friend of his, didn't speak much. We took a trip down below the city, saw what many before me have seen, but nothing more interesting than that. And the next morning I was delivered a telegram from Mr. Marx, inviting me here. Made my way down to the Riviera. He didn't allow me much time. I would have rather taken a ship back here, but I was forced to take an aeroplane. And here I am.
Oh, goodness.
Wondering if any of you have met him before. I have no idea what sort of man he is, but I honestly had nothing else to keep me busy.
As you're speaking, the group of you hear a unusual sound. You're having a hard time placing it. And as you're listening, and it's loud enough that it noticeably interrupts the conversation. In this brief lull, Reginald comes in carrying, pushing a cart that there is a cloth over top of it. It is a white tablecloth. And he says, I believe Mr. Yori, forgive me, Yori, this will be of great interest to you, and maybe you can discuss it with the group. The sound you hear, I believe, is Mr. Marks coming down and making his presence. He'll be here shortly. As he removes the cloth from the cart, you see a large glass cage of sorts. Each side is about 3 feet high. The base of it takes up the entire length of the cart, which is about 3 by 3 as well. In the top of it, you can see that there are little tubes metal tubes coming up out of it, and through the glass, Yori, you can see that there is a creature, a plant. It has 8 long arms coming from the base of it, and they move individually. You can see that on these arms there are spines like a cactus has, and at the base of where these arms come from, there just seems to be a mouth reminiscent of a flytrap.
Is this the strange plant that Mr. Marks has been talking about?
Underneath the cart, you can hear a squealing noise. Reginald reaches down and he grabs a cage that has, from your experiments, you're quite can identify a feeder mouse easily. And he says, if you'd like demonstrations, I can put this into the cage if you'd like.
It's a little
If this
bit
is what I
much.
think it is, well, I would like to see it.
He goes over to one of the tubes, and you can see that it has a mechanism so he can slide it over, and he drops the mouse in through the tube, and it falls to the base of the aquarium base, and it with a brief squeak, and it starts looking around and sniffing the air. And as you watch, you see that the plant's arms, the ones in the 3 of them that are closest to the mouse start moving and undulating in a way as if maybe they're trying to triangulate the position of the mouse, the way that they're moving. And you see the 2 on the sides just kind of stop, and then the one in the middle flicks back and forth like a whip.
Oh.
And you watch the spines fly to the little mouse, and it dies.
I have never seen anything like this.
And
even among carnivorous plants.
And the other, one of the tentacles reaches out and grabs the mouse like you would see an octopus using its tentacles to do it, and brings it over and deposits it in its little flytrap mouth, and the mouth closes up around it.
Oh.
So,
Dear Lord
I need
in heaven.
all of you to make a sanity check.
Oh no!
Oh,
It's
great.
been real, guys. I've loved being here.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
Sanity.
Oh, Gussie fails.
I have
Oh,
not had a
Gussie.
successful roll yet, but Gussie's off for game.
Gussie, the rest of you, as disturbing as it was, the natural predator nature of things just didn't quite bother you. But Gussie, there's just no plant out there that should ever be acting in this way.
It's unnatural.
It is completely unnatural.
To just say, there are many things that are natural, but we have never discovered yet. And
Oh.
yet they are natural.
Gussie, you lose 2 points of sanity from
Oof.
watching this.
All right.
Are you all right, Gussie? You're a little pale.
How are you feeling now about that? It really just disturbed you.
I didn't come here for this.
I mean, neither did I.
I think we could move
But-
along. I don't.
It's-
It was we could have made an assumption. You could have just informed us about what happened. I think it was it's like a scare tactic. I don't appreciate it.
What was the purpose of wheeling out this green grotesquerie anyway?
To grotesque.
I was informed it was,
Not sure if grotesque is a verb.
among
It
my
is
studies.
today.
I am sorry about this grotesque display. Can we move this cart to somewhere else? I will have a closer look at it later.
Reginald
We appreciate
puts
it.
the tablecloth back over it and wheels it out of the room. And as he wheels it, almost like ships passing, you see another wheeled chair start coming into the room. There is a man sitting in the chair. He looks to be in his 50s. He has long hair that is mostly salt, a little bit of pepper left in there. His mustache is comes down and meets his beard, and he is wheeling the chair himself. He is not dressed in a dinner jacket. He seems to have on, Avery, it looks to you more like combat fatigues that soldiers wore in World War I. There's a red blanket across his lap, and everyone go ahead and make a spot hidden check.
Ooh.
Oh, my first success.
Yay, Gussie! So,
Barely.
so just a matter of, as a reminder, in case you folks haven't been doing it, we haven't made a whole lot of checks, but this spot hidden, those of you that succeeded, remember to check your little dot on your character sheet so that we can remember to check for improvement after the first adventure is done.
Thank you for reminding me.
That's
I completely
right.
forgot.
Thank you.
Yeah,
On the
so
I
I know
failed so
Yori
much.
made one earlier, so
Yes.
it would be
I'm
nice if
already
you got to make checks for sanity, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sure would be
that's not how it
nice.
works.
I'm a goner, guys.
That's a mood.
Been
That's a
real.
mood. Yeah.
So Gussie and Avery, there's a lump underneath his blanket that's across his lap that you're both relatively certain in its shape and size is a weapon. And based on both of your experiencing the shape and the length and all of that, it's either some kind of long pistol or a sawed-off shotgun.
I'm gonna put my hand on my purse because that's where my pistol is.
Fair enough.
I'm already freaked out. I'm a bit on edge.
Gussie, is there a good chance that you've mentioned that tactic to Patty before?
I don't know if you've ever seen me in a I need to draw my gun situation before.
Probably
Well, that's
not.
valid. Probably not. On
I'm not gonna reach into my purse, but I'm just going to like feel that it's there as just a little bit of comfort because it makes me uncomfortable.
Mr. Marks, I presume?
Indeed. Thank you for coming, all of you.
Well, we are guests in your home, but not sure this is the reception that we expected.
I don't feel like a guest.
Well,
I don't know. I'm having a pretty nice things considered.
well, we have much to discuss, and I have had the cook prepare a wonderful meal. I hope that steak is fine for all of you. They will be ready at a medium rare temperature, although if any of you need it ruined, let me know and I can have the cook do some damage.
When you want to live well, you want your steak at least medium rare, my friend, if not rare. Honestly, could I get mine a little more on the rich side, please?
Oh, well,
If that's possible. If they're all...
if Reginald
Don't you
is
worry.
back quickly enough, I can ask him to do that.
If it's
Forgive my little
possible,
display.
don't trouble yourselves over it.
Forgive the little display, but all of you came here because you were searching for something. Answers, questions, and the world likes when it sees something it cannot make sense of. It pretends or makes something fanciful as to excuse away what we're really seeing. And there's no way you can excuse away watching what I just showed you. I apologize if it left some of you feeling a little uneased. But if we are to continue forth in our relationship, I can guarantee that this will be a small thing compared to other sights you may see over the coming days.
Oh.
You're saying there's more and worse still to come.
Well, I don't recommend the worse. I do say that you may have to steel yourself and be of strong character. I believe that before I reached out to you, that all of you showed that you had strong character, even though this is not your norm.
Well, what the hell? I've had scarier auditions.
Indeed.
Shall we continue?
Indeed, indeed. First off, a few of you I noticed visually acknowledged the presence of my weapon. And he says, I am not... As you noticed it, I'm glad. I will just show you what I have. And he rolls back the top edge of his blanket, and you see that there is indeed a double-barreled sawed-off shotgun. He says, this is Bessie.
Are you
Please
trying to
to
threaten
meet
us? I don't understand.
Bessie?
Well, Bessie and I don't go anywhere without each other.
Right.
Please, I don't mean to offend. I am Mr. Theron Marks. I am the lone surviving member of my crew. And I am here to share stories and information, possibly make an invitation, join a small group of individuals that are doing their best for, well, from my perspective, mankind. Not all of them join for altruistic reasons. Some of you will do so for financial reasons, some of you will do so for answers, and others will do so because they crave the knowledge.
So, if I'm understanding you correctly, not only can we maybe assess some things that were difficult to assess previously, but we also get paid for it?
Oh. Once a member of my family, so to speak, Mikasa Sukasa. Every
Said he's
member,
wearing. Go ahead, Kevin.
every member of my family has a room in this house, as well as my home in Berlin and Cairo.
You said he's wearing fatigues.
Wow.
Can I tell what branch and rank he?
The rank insignia has been ripped off, but branch, you can tell he was Army.
Okay.
And he says, Reginald comes in, and Theron turns and he goes, Reggie, please. Patty here would like a rarer steak. Please have the cook stop that so that it is done. Please follow me as we go to the dining room. And
Okay.
You are an absolute doll. I appreciate it so much.
I'm going to stand, and as we're all kind of walking out, I'm going to make my way over to Patty. You have your Derringer, right?
Of course I do. I told you I was gonna take it.
I mean, I'm just checking. If he says things get worse, he's literally wheeling around a shotgun. You
Well,
watch. we
let's
watch the
also
plant
let
eat an animal, and then he wheels out a shotgun and says, "We're family."
Well, in fairness, hun, I've known people a little loopier in the business.
This isn't.
Have you heard Al Capone talk? I mean, the other business, honey. The other business.
I'm gonna start walking.
he's
You
wheeling.
always get so torn up about that.
He's wheeling into the adjacent room, into the dining room. There is a large, formal dining room table that could seat a dozen. He has it set so that everyone will be around the end of the far end of the table. And as you come in, the art on the walls, you notice that it is a portrait. That there are portraits of individuals all around the room. He's got 16 different portraits, and he himself is one of them. And they appear to be grouped, as there is and the reason I say that is there is a group portrait above each of the sections of 4. And each of these are hand-painted. You're looking at him. He is standing in a group, and as you walk in, he says, "Please, feel free to sit at any of the spots that are set. If you
Okay.
choose to stay amongst my family, so to speak, I will eventually commission an artist to paint your portraits as well."
Mr. Marks, is
Very
there an indoor
sweet.
water closet in this house?
Of course.
Can you please show me the way?
Reginald, he rings the bell, and Reginald comes, and he goes, "Reginald, would you please show Mr. Emerson to the water closet.
And while in there, I have a 1911 tucked into my waistband. I just chamber around, wash my hands, and make my way back out to the group.
Sure. Not a problem.
We just all start, and we all start blasting.
A shot, no missed.
I'm
Gonna shoot the wheelchair-bound man. That's all.
Hey,
Just
be a
just
standoff.
watching out.
guys, I'm freaking out. Gussie.
I mean, she did lose a little bit of
yeah,
sanity.
I'm not doing well. Gussie's gonna sit.
She's not doing
gonna
great.
sit so she can see as much of the room and the doorway as possible. She doesn't want to be snuck up on. She's
So
on
there's
edge.
yeah. So you sit. You have a choice of putting your back to the window, or
Oh,
or your back to one of two doors that exit the room.
I'll put my back to the window.
All
I
right.
hate that as well.
That way you can't see the eldritch horror that's peeking in.
I'm more afraid
That
of
might be
people.
for the best for her right now.
I don't, guys. If it's behind me, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Don't look behind you, hon.
I 100% will
Just
not.
don't look. Do not look. You'll be fine. Just run away. Patty will see Gussie looking a little green around the gills and plop herself down in the seat just to Gussie's left.
Okay. So you other two will be on the other side of the table, and Theron sits at the head
Want
of the
some
table.
scotch, honey?
And
My head
Reginald mentions that we do have a full bar if you would like anything, and Theron says, "Break out some Cabernet for me." Actually, with the looks on their face, just make it Scotch.
This is a man with taste. I can appreciate that, sir.
I think I'll remain dry if that's all right.
And she doesn't
I'm
want
just
to commit a
good for
crime
your
with the
nerves,
rest of us.
honey.
Oh, yeah. I'm just scribbling notes of what we just saw. That's mostly what I focused on.
Weird shit, bad plant.
Bad plant, shit plant.
Bad plant, don't like, but 10 out of 10, really cool.
10 out of 10, very mouse.
Oh no.
So, the meal is served. There is baked potato. There is plenty of butter and sour cream available to heap on as much as you wish. Chives are available as well, and the steak is cooked to perfection. He's serving a ribeye, a big, thick, 24-ounce ribeye with some veggies. The veggies have been cooked in some kind of reminds you of some of the butter sauces that you had in Paris. And
Man knows how to throw a party.
and he says, "Reggie, please put on some of the music." A little light jazz music starts to play in the background. He says, "Yeah." He says, Sorry, everybody. I failed to have the jazz music ready. Next time."
We feel it.
That's
Right.
all right.
Weird.
I can imagine it.
Yeah,
I can sense it.
you can sense
I
it.
feel the beat.
So, he says, all of you have exceptional backgrounds. Gussie, that plant creature was horrendous. I found it in Central America.
Oh.
And
Huh.
I won't tell you the details of that story because merely seeing that plant and what it can do, I'm still not certain if plant is the right word. And Iori, you will. Caution is all I can say.
Seemingly behave like an animal. Than a
Yes.
plant.
Caution is all I can say. If I must, I had the gardener come in with garden shears and reach in and clip from far away the cutting that I sent to you, because what it does to the mouse, it can do to others. And my experience is that if I allowed it to be in a cage bigger than the one it is in, it would grow to accommodate the size.
I see.
Well, that's
You mean this cutting?
horrifying.
So I pull out the cutting.
Yes.
I don't care for it.
When you have
And I'll
time,
put
you
it
can
back.
compare and get an idea of just how small a piece that is that I had sent to you. And
I
how
will.
much danger there is in getting it to you. So, I appreciate your coming, and I hope you will be interested in what more I have to discuss and further scientific endeavors to discover the unknown. Miss
Well,
Gussie.
I myself am curious why these others here have been invited.
Well,
What is it that they can bring to the table?
Miss
Or
Gussie
what
here
have they
has
experienced?
nearly experienced things of that realm already. Your necklace.
Yes. You informed me that you knew what it was.
Oh. It may be difficult to believe, but I have seen the creature that it was based off of.
It's
It's got 6 legs.
I'm sorry. It's based off of just a deformed cat.
Well, there's quite a few of them, and I would highly recommend that you not call them deformed if you ever meet them.
You speak almost like they'd understand.
Yes. That particular variety of cat is highly intelligent. Thankfully, not really aggressive. And if I had to guess what that necklace purpose was, it was probably to visit that creature in your sleep. Either that necklace is no longer functional, or you just have not figured out how to activate it. But I imagine that if you tried, you would be able to actually go visit them.
So, Mr. Marks, you're implying that my necklace is a portal, a way of communicating in my dreams with a bunch of cats.
Well,
Like
intelligent.
a catagram.
Quite. Great. I think I need more scotch.
Yes.
Wow.
Always.
How
Well,
do you unlock it then? The word is
well, it would take some research to figure out. I just know that cat tends to stay in the dreamlands versus coming into our world.
The Dreamlands. Reginald, please bring some more drinks. This man's already tight. We need some catching up.
I have never heard of a place like that.
Well, of course,
Central
I
America,
completely
yes,
understand.
but-
He says, please, Gussie, think about your studies. How many legends of some of the cultures you've studied have discussed the power of dreams and the travels and things that can be accomplished there, and even dare say that some have claimed that if you died for real in your dream that you would die a real death.
I mean, honestly, there are many cultures that put high stakes in dreams and astral projection, but I mean, I've studied many cultures, and it's never been so insane. Literally, what you're saying sounds insane.
Quite. Which is unfortunately why I showed you my plant to begin with.
That was a God. I wish we could have started with some. There has to be like steps before you get to the horrible plan, or a warning, or a
I
way.
rather do think you started with the top shelf when you maybe should have started off with at least the middle shelf, maybe the lower shelf.
Oh,
It's-
well,
It's more upsetting because
but you would have said if I described that plant that it was impossible, yes?
yes, that's probably true. God, I believe you.
Well, I at least appreciate seeing this plant.
Of course.
It
course.
it is a disturbing sight, but
And there is one amongst us that is reasonably certain that they're capable of, on occasion, doing the impossible.
Excuse
Are you
me.
okay,
Patty.
Patty?
I'm fine. I'm very fine. I appreciate your concern, Mr. Yori. I very much do. I'm the picture of health. It's quite all right.
Yes. Would you say, Patty, that you can, on occasion, do things that others might say is impossible?
Well, I would certainly say that there is the occasional moment where things just seem to fall into my lap.
Yes, yes. They kind of just voices come to you.
Mr. Marks, I don't think this is any of your business. Especially not your business to tell.
Well, Miss Yori, would you agree that science and knowledge that you have today 300 years ago was called magic, yes?
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
I am merely saying that there are sciences that we do not understand, that we must be cautious because our human mind is not quite capable of grabbing the truths of these sciences. They will and have fractured the hearts and minds of many of my friends, for they went too far into grabbing for these truths. And yet, the adventures that are available,
I'm
things
sorry.
that you could write,
Yeah.
the knowledge that you could earn. Patty, would you like to be able to control those voices? Because that is science.
Well, I mean, I'm no scientist. I'm much an artist, obviously. I mean, look at how I'm dressed. But
Absolutely.
the very
and you
reason
look
I
lovely.
took you up upon your letter was, oh, thank you. You're too kind. But the reason I took you up on your letter was in order to, yes, get a little control and a little peace.
Indeed.
Mr. Marks, you seem to know a bit about each of us, but we know nothing about you. You wear military regalia with no rank. You sit in a wheeled chair as if you were wounded in the Great War, but you're even older than I. I was a journalist in the war, not in the service. You were too old for the Great War. How did you come to be here? Who are you?
Well,
How did you find us?
the how is, well, for you, a Turkish gentleman who is always on the lookout for individuals for me to come send my way. The rest of you, well, I put together teams to help mankind. Each team needs a scientist. Each team needs someone who's very, very good at communication. Each team needs someone, or multiple someones, who have some field experience using weapons, know some linguistics, have the ability to pick up some linguistics. Knowledge of the occult and anthropology and archaeology are always things that I need. And so, it is time for me to try to put together another team. Why? Well, my family, as I have been calling it, is a society that I call the 11th Hour. Why do I call it that? Well, we are here to save mankind from abominations and atrocities that it does not even know. Was I in the military? I have seen scrapes. Was I in the Great War? No. This jacket was a friend of mine's. He points up to a picture on the wall that is his, and you can see that there is a younger man in there that what is wearing military fatigues in the same picture that he is. I wear this to honor my friend. How did I lose my legs? I won't share that story right now, as the plant was enough, and you've told me that if that was top shelf, I'm going to just keep that story to myself.
Perhaps another time when we're in the mood for a heavier spirit.
Oh, yes, indeed. Why do I carry Bessie with me at all times? Because if you join my society, I imagine that you will carry something similar with you at all times. My group had a rule, and one of them was Bessie never left our sides.
So you have multiple teams.
There are 2 others at the moment. My team is retired. My 3 compatriots have passed on, combating the evils of science.
You mean modern man science, or do you mean this strange advanced science about which we know little?
The strange advanced science that allows creatures like that plant to exist.
Patty, it seems like
And you can help quite a bit. I have quite a few friendships at Miskatonic University, and the president of the university has asked if your group is willing. You could find out if this is something that is of interest to you. There is a gentleman in a little small town, little west of here, in Coldwater Creek, who has gone insane. The locals have asked the folks at Miskatonic University to check into this. At the moment, they can't spare anyone, and they asked me if I had a team that could go out and look into his circumstances and, if need be, bring him back to Miskatonic's sanitarium. But they would like the complete story if possible, and the entirety of the story, as I can tell it to you right now, is this poor gentleman had some kind of mental break and believes he is a dog.
Is he a good dog or a bad dog?
No, he bit someone and attempted to rip their throat out. Currently, he's in the Coldwater Creek Sheriff's Jail.
This seems like a job for, doctors. I'm assuming.
Dog catcher.
Well, he's already caught.
So you.
Surely he's sober by now. I've met people on there drinking Montparnasse that, bit people because they thought they were dogs too, but it was just the absinthe.
Well, the story
is one hell
that
of a
you
drink.
may get out of this, Mr. Emerson, a man whose psychic mental break brought him to a point where he is a feral dog, may be interesting. From a scientific perspective, understanding where he is and how he got there would be what I would hope from the scientist. From the community, the one that can talk to everyone, I would really hope that you would be able to help understand the reality of the situation and find folks that might be willing to talk, as it is a small town. And Gussie, your all-round expertise, having investigated things of this like in the past, I think you will be surprised to see some of your field talents coming to use.
Well, this is certainly an interesting task. I can take notes and document, and we can have this research brought to the other academics.
And at the very least, consider this. You will be doing a favor for the president of Miskatonic University, and Gussie, you are always going to be looking for people to fund your expeditions.
And libraries to research in.
They do have what is considered one of the finest libraries in all of New England.
I'm not saying I'm not interested. It's all a bit much at once. I mean, I'm aware that there are things that we cannot comprehend. The assumption is that if you're sending us some occult buster group, I don't know what the implication is, but you must then assume there is something otherworldly afoot if we're checking in on just a normal, man who has just lost some marbles. That seems pretty plain. You must assume there's something more devious at work.
Well, who else are you going to call upon?
That's a good question.
Honestly.
Arkham Universe...
When you start seeing something weird in your neighborhood.
Well, Miskatonic University gets most of the calls for anything that is deemed outside of the normal, and I have quite a relationship with the president of the university.
And this dog man in the sheriff's lockup, what is his name? Who do we seek there?
Well, the man in lockup is a Mr. Harlan Dupree.
Harlan Dupree.
A Frenchman?
He's an old man. That's all I know.
Could be from Louisiana for all we know.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can
that's
arrange for
Anybody know, like,
I can arrange for Dr. Adelson to be
sorry,
here to discuss.
I just want.
By all means, please, Patty.
I do apologize. It's probably the whiskey. I only wanted to know if any members of the man's town, family in town.
He does have family, is my understanding.
You mentioned a Dr. Addleston.
Yes, Dr. David Adelson. He is the president. I could arrange for you to meet him if that would be useful to you.
That would be, even as I am a scientist, my field is not in psychology or psychotherapy.
Well, I know a little bit about those things, mostly from, I suppose, an enthusiast's point of view, but I'll be happy to lend what help I can.
Excellent. Shall I tell, I will tell Dr. Adelson to expect you on the morrow?
Tomorrow.
Well,
You
Better
act very fast.
if you need time to consider things, I suppose the insane man who believes he's a dog isn't going anywhere. Although,
Oh,
the university would certainly like to get started on this now versus later. Well,
Gus,
Really?
come
Why
on. We
don't
gotta
you-
strike while the iron's hot here.
he says, why don't you think on that a moment? And we're going to take a 10-minute break while they're thinking. Thanks, folks. We'll see you in 10. Now it's time to see the true moment here. Is the horror of watching the plant eat a mouse going to be enough for poor Gussie to go, oh, heck no. Not doing it. Can't make me.
The thing is about Gussie, she doesn't want to look weak. So Gussie's going to take a deep breath. Honestly, you know what? I don't need time. Not a problem. Count me in.
Excellent, excellent. I will.
Right.
And after you finish investigating poor Harlan's situation, we can all get together and meet and decide if each of you really thinks the 11th hour is the right home for you.
All this
I
home
suppose
talk.
since she.
Well,
Honestly, seems a bit manipulative, if I'm going to be honest.
You mean literally a home?
well, you have your lives, but yes, if the call came, I would pass along
A
situations
summons.
for you to investigate. I will let Dr. Adelson and Dr. Miller know that to expect you in the morning at Miskatonic. You are all my guests. Reginald took the liberty of preparing rooms for you. Or if you are more comfortable staying elsewhere, that is quite okay.
Patty kind of leans over a little bit to Gussie while the good gentleman is still talking, and she whispers, "Do we have an Uncle Miller at Miskatonic?"
I mean, Miller's an incredibly common name. I don't think so.
no, but
Honestly, I have no idea what's going on with the family. Have you been able to keep up with Mom?
I mean, here and there,
Oh, God.
little. It's Beatrice, you know.
Oh, Beatrice. I think it was quite a ride to get out here. As much as I hate it, I'd like to stay. Patty, if you're staying, I'd love to stay.
Well, I figure there's no harm in trying something out for a brief period. And as our kind host has said, we can depart if we find the arrangement to not be suitable to us, which I think is more than fair.
Yes, that's what he says.
Well, any of you who feel like you want to kind of gauge his honesty, you could make a psychology check.
I'd love to.
I would like to as well.
I'm not very... Okay, here I come.
Oh.
I trust this guy
Well.
implicitly.
Despite the fact
Well.
that he wheeled out a mouse-eating plant.
Yeah, no, I don't like this.
Well,
I
you
don't
have
like
the
him, but I
options
trust him.
So, Patty, you only failed by 10. You certainly could spend luck points if you felt like it was
Ooh.
worth spending it on.
I
Or
don't-
either of you could choose to push the roll.
I think you should push the roll.
What happens if I push?
Well, if you push, then you're going to tell me what, probably a little more interaction to go maybe asking him if he's trustworthy or something like that. And
I would save luck for more life.
Life or
kinda
death type
threatening,
matters. That's what I was given the impression to understand would be the best prioritization. I would like to push my role.
sure.
Um,
I'm fine.
What are
Travel psychology.
so you're going to
Good.
push the situation to really dig into whether he's trustworthy or telling the truth?
Patty kind of wants to direct her gaze at Mr. Theron Marks and sort of kind of size him up, and she says, "Now, I do want very much to get a little peace, to get a few answers, to get maybe a little money out of this arrangement, but some of my fellow guests have brought up a very important point, and I fear we've not worked very long together, Mr. Marks, and I would be very much less the entertainer that I am today had I not taken the time to read my contracts carefully. Please understand, I do not mean any disrespect, but if there is some assurance that you can give us of your word that you will stand behind what you have promised us, it would do very much to settle my conscience."
Sure. He says, well, I am merely a somewhat crazed-looking man toting around a double-barreled shotgun at a dinner table.
At the very least, you are self-aware, which does a great deal for your impressions upon my beliefs of you, sir, at the very least. And I say again, I do not mean any disrespect in questioning you on this. It's just, I think a healthy dose of caution and a little dash of skepticism on occasion is a healthy thing to cultivate in this line of work.
Well, if you'd like, I could have you put up at the hotel just off of the college, if that would make you more comfortable for the evening. Go ahead and make your psychology push.
I will make my psychology push.
Oh, you did
Very
it.
good.
Oh!
So make
I
sure you
squeezed in.
Yeah, make sure
I-
you acknowledge your success on the, with the little
I
circle.
wanted you to push. I'm sorry, because if you failed the second time, it would be even more hilarious than if you failed.
I mean, yeah, that's
wanted you to
valid.
fail.
I understand. I wanted you to fail. I get it. I understand. More fun to watch somebody fail anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super fun.
I understand everyone's concerns, but I
But-
propose we stay here this evening. There seems to be drink here, and I'm not sure where we'll find it elsewhere in the town with this damnable 18th Amendment.
Oh. Well, I mean, I could definitely show you a couple of watering holes, as it were, but this is certainly a much more reputable and much higher quality stash than you will find most anywhere these days.
Says, well, I'm going to retire early for the evening. I will have Reginald show you your rooms as well as the bar. Feel free to stay up talking as late as you wish, and I will have Reginald bring you over to visit with the professors in the morning.
Okay.
And he starts to wheel over to
We're very obliged.
what appears. You see that he opens a door, and it looks like it's a dumbwaiter type system of some sort for him to get to upper levels. He's got an elevator.
Huh. Cool.
Ingenious.
Interesting.
Very convenient, that. I almost wish I had one, but I've only got one floor.
Yeah.
Reginald shows you to nice rooms on the second floor, and the bar is as well stocked as he promised. Nothing but top shelf liquors, and whether you're a gin drinker or you prefer a nice Caribbean rum, or just to stick with the Scotch and whiskeys, those are all well taken care of. There's a nice brandy and cognac for after dinner drinks.
Pat, darling,
Yes, Gussie.
would you be so kind as to just accompany me to my room for a moment?
I'll
Just a
be
quick
happy.
moment.
Of course. Of course.
We're both going to go to Gussie's room. And is there a lock on the door?
There is, and it's an old skeleton key type lock that the key is sitting on the inside of the door for you to lock it and then remove it.
100%. The second we're in, I lock the door.
Yeah, that checks out.
Please give a locksmith check.
Because it's just for fun.
Yeah, no.
Oh no, you. Oh,
Oh,
My shaky
why
hand.
would you do that?
no.
I
You
just
didn't
wanted to
you
see
didn't
if
need to
it was
do it,
possible.
but you did it.
Do you want some help there?
No,
You
it's-
okay?
darling, perfect.
Mm-hmm. I can tell.
I am going to go up to Pat, and I'm going to talk softly.
Patty, did you happen to bring a whole bottle of liquor up with you?
Oh, I sure did. I mean, I'm the party girl. What do you want? Of course.
Right?
Just 2 bottles, like, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Which one? What you want? What you drinking?
Pat, I want to be serious for a moment, if it's all right.
Sure.
I do not want you to take this the wrong way, because this could come across that way, and I don't want it to, all right?
Okay.
I understand why I would say yes, presented with what we may be getting invested in. I understand why our friend the botanist may be interested. I cannot speak for our author friend, but he is not my concern. You are my concern. It feels like blackmail. For you, at least. Just, I don't like it, and I don't want you to feel pressured to do anything in this, and I don't know if you should. And it's been jokes all night, and I understand that that's just who you are, and that's fine. But the things I've read about, I don't think it's worth it. I want you to dwell on it. I understand, the sense of adventure and the sense of getting some things answered or fixed. And first off, there's nothing wrong with you. But I want you to think about it.
Gussie, there's a reason why I'm taking up Mr. Marks on his offer, and things have developed since you left the States, and things have gotten a little scary sometimes. And at the present moment, personally, I would prefer to take any risks that Mr. Marks is presently asking us to take, which do not seem to be beyond merely outside the ordinary. If they were extraordinary risks, I'd be weighing things a great deal more carefully, but right now, I think I would rather take this job than go back to my apartment the way that things have been.
Pat, that's exactly my point. If something is wrong and he knows that he could help or knows something that could help, this making you work for it, something that would help you, he's taking advantage of you.
The way I figure it, in showbiz, there is plenty of opportunity to get taken advantage of, but darling, I've taken advantage of quite a few folks myself. I'm not proud of it, but that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. I appreciate your concern. I really do. You're my sister, and I love you very much. And I appreciate you looking out for me. But believe me when I say I'm not as scared of him or what he could do or what he could get from me as I am of what may yet come to light if I don't figure things out first. Now, I know that you got real shook up from seeing that thing earlier on. It wasn't a walk in the park for me either, but let me put it to you like this. What would you think if you were asked to go back to your house when at any time one of those plants, one of those things could just show up out of the blue at any time? You can't say when, you can't say where. It's gonna show up. And it might take a few days for it to show up again. Might take a couple weeks. Might be a few months. Might happen more than once in a day. Gussie, I'm tired. I'm not scared of this man in his wheelchair with his sawed-off shotgun. And I know he could hurt me, but I'm willing to bet that I can outmaneuver him or we can outsmart him.
I don't think I'm going to be able to change your mind. I don't think I've ever been able to do that. But hearing your explanation, I just want to say one thing, and then of course we can go back to the group because I hate being suspicious.
Sure.
Going home and having experiences that are painful, I understand that that can be terrible, and I'm sorry it's been terrible for you. I just hope you're comfortable going right at it then. Because this isn't going to be, a cakewalk. This is going to be you more than likely confronting something of that level willingly. And if you're willing to do that, I think that's astounding. It just doesn't seem like that's something you want. But I will be here, and like he said, you can step out at any time, but understand I will still be here, and I still want to help you.
Thanks, Gus.
Of course, I couldn't lock the door, so let's just go.
Yeah, I think that's for the best.
I tried.
Oh no.
Let me. I know that you've been trying real hard to stay dry, but are you sure you won't take just a sniffer of brandy, even just something to steady the nerves?
Maybe next time.
Can't blame a girl for trying.
Of course. One of us has to keep our wits. I think it's just going to be me and a botanist, which we'll do our best, I suppose.
Well, from what I've read, Mr. Emerson can certainly hold his liquor, if nothing else. He'll probably
nothing
outlive us all.
Nothing. Let's go.
So Emerson and Yori, your guys are down at the bar. Are you talking about anything?
Avery is a little bit he's a little bit into his cups at this point, and he is just he mentioned the 18th Amendment prior, and he's a little fired up now.
Oh.
Oh no!
Oh no.
So,
He's
so
that
Sunday,
uncle.
Billy Sunday, the man was a ball player. He's not even a good ball player, and then he finds Jesus and goes across the country, riling people up. And this bastard convinces everyone that no one in the country should be able to drink alcohol anymore. This bastard. And it calls to mind Mark Twain, who said, censorship is like telling a baby that they can't have, or telling people that they can't have steak because a baby can't chew it. Well, so Billy Sunday's old man beat the shit out of him when he was drunk. So now Billy Sunday, this bastard, goes around telling everybody nobody can have alcohol. I'm sorry, Yori. Please tell me more about where did you study? Where did you study?
I think the whole time, like, Yori's just like writing notes and like sipping tea, like yeah. Like writing about the plant, like just like Oh, well, I was a graduate of Harvard.
Harvard.
Among the many Japanese students there. But tell me, Mr. Emerson, you have never met this Marx before.
Never. Never even heard of him before. Just got a letter and was in a...
It is the same with me. I also just received a letter. I am actually quite impressed that this Marx has been able to keep track of all of our activities.
Without any of us knowing about it either.
Hello, we're back.
And you
Sorry, just
pop
stepped
right in.
away.
Oof.
Oh.
So why did you
Didn't
answer?
mean to
Why
eavesdrop.
why did you respond to his letter? I had
Well-
nothing going on. I have my reasons. Why are you here?
Well, for
You're a
me,
professional. You're an expert in your field. Harvard educated.
Exactly. I was sent the strange sample of that horror that we saw earlier, and it caught my attention. It was very curious. It simply did not behave like any plant I've ever encountered. It almost behaved animalistically. Now, there are plants that move by reflex or by an external trigger, but never like that. Usually, those movements are rehearsed, not almost controlled. The natural plant movements tend to be more instinctual, as if programmed.
Did you see the way it waved? It reached out searching and you ever seen a bullfight?
Yes. Um,
Yeah, I caught that film, the silent film Blood and Sand.
It's like the matador uses his cape to guide the bull and steps out of the way and brings the bull in for its strike. That's what it reminded me of. Did you see that?
I did. I think another strange thing was it's the way it shot its thorns with such accuracy, almost like it could see the rat.
Or
I
sense it somehow.
indeed there are plants that shoot or disperse thorny seeds for reproduction, but not like this for prey. As far as I'm concerned, this sample that I have, which I will not bring out for Gussie's
Thank you.
sake,
Kind of
has
you.
not grown. It is just a cutting.
Interesting. Interesting.
And what does any of this have to
I'm
do
not.
with a man who thinks he's a dog?
If they're connected, I will eat my shoe.
Well,
If
careful,
this was a
sis.
plant inside of him and, it burst out or something.
I'm curious as well. And you have been talking about dreams, yes. Well, I will say there, as you might know, you have some anthropological knowledge that some cultures use certain plants to reach certain dream states, but they have to carefully prepare them. Otherwise, it would be poisonous. But yes,
Naturally.
some cultures can create some pastes that could easily rocket a human into a dream state.
Well, you don't even always need anything quite so esoteric, honestly.
It sounds like
Reefer
implying
and
I-
a gang of gin will do fine.
It seems he's just
Sorry?
implying that I should get high and just, try to astral project around to the cat people.
Well, it's worked for me.
To
Well,
see
with
the
this
cat people.
prohibition, certainly, we could all
Well,
use some
no, not
alternatives.
cat people.
It's
Can I
insane.
see your pendant?
You can see it. Yes. And I'm going to hold it up and sort of kind of hold it away from myself and move closer so you can look at it.
Oh, very interesting. If this were 6 feet, 6 legs of a cat, that would mean that it would have similar, almost like an insect. But usually 6 legs is not really efficient for land travel.
I wouldn't.
Probably for climbing. Where
Interesting.
did you get this necklace?
I found it while I was doing an expedition in Jaresh in Jordan. We had found a temple, a bit of an area that hadn't been pilfered. So there was at least something nice to find. There were a couple of these. The strange thing is they don't match up with what I expected to find. They're made out of the same materials as everything else. The clay there, but it didn't fit, and now it seems it's part of some subsect cult of people who dreamscape to see other beings. I'm not sure what to take from that.
You decided to just take this necklace and wear it so casually.
There were other ones, and they were donations to different colleges and other places that wanted to sponsor museums, researchers. And I kept this one.
Oh.
As
Well,
a researcher is wont to do.
Yeah.
Mr. Emerson, it seems like our other companions here have had strange experiences. How about you?
I've had a life. Honestly, I didn't engage in any of these activities. I haven't gone poking through any tombs until about a month ago in Paris. You might have at least heard of my book on the backs of men. Really got me thinking about living on the literal backs of men and how Paris is built on the catacombs. So I asked some friends of mine what they knew of the catacombs, if they could show them to me. And they brought me below the city, and I mean, it is something to see. But as far as knowledge of plant toxins or the occult or mammals with 6 limbs, I have no exposure to any
anything
of
in those catacombs.
the only nothing. I was hoping to find something to spark my interest, something to get my creative fuel going, and it's breathtaking. It's astounding to see thousands of years of history, but it didn't inspire me to write. But it did inspire me to follow this letter written by a stranger back to the States, where I can't even legally have a drink. As far as plant toxins,
All things considered, my friend.
I know of no plant toxins, other than the poppies in the laudanum. I've lived a life, but I don't know why I'm here among this group.
Sounds to me like if you had wanted inspiration, you would have been better off participating in the French cafe and bar cuisine than their mortuaries.
Well, I've written about that. I've lived among those terrible people since the Great War ended. They're all as broken and lost as I am, and there's only so much inspiration one can take from broken, terrible, selfish people. There's only so much the public will want to read about.
Well, after this, you can take an autobiography into account.
I have a strange feeling that we'll be dissuaded, or at the very least, given some financial compensation for not making all of this publicly known.
Well, I wasn't offered that yet, so it's on the table.
Yeah, that's true.
And with that, you call it a night and make your ways to your room. You sleep comfortably. Breakfast is served, and Reginald brings about the car. He says, "Please hop in to get you to the appointment with Dr. Adelson."
Off we
Pleasure to
go.
see you again, Reginald.
Again? What?
Bill Reginald was serving us last night, remember?
Oh, right.
You just gotta clean your glasses a little, like, oh,
Right.
Oh, yes. Right.
I remember you.
My glasses fogged up when I stepped out of the house.
Gussie, I'm Gussie. Help.
That's a mood.
Help. Pat, if you get in the car, close the door, see if you can open it from the inside, please.
Yes, of course. Not my first rodeo. Patty will go ahead and hop into the rear passenger seat and shut the door, and she will she'll kind of like make a little disappointed noise, like ow, and kind of like make a motion with her skirt, kind of like tug on it a bit, and then go to open the door again.
It opens without an issue.
Gussie climbs
Beautiful. There we go.
Yeah.
No harm done.
I think we will all.
It's a
Fine, then.
spacious car. It's the vehicle is one that has the two back doors that open up, so that there's actually two bench seats back there.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
All right, folks, we'll be on our way now, and he brings you over to the university. The university, the building that you're going to looks fairly new, and the outside of it is labeled Waitley Hall, and right in. The office is on the second floor. You are meeting in Dr. Miller's office.
All right. You said second floor. Is there anything that we should keep an eye out for while we're on our way in, or anybody that we should mind out that we don't disturb?
Oh, I don't.
This being a
believe so.
university.
Yeah, you're fine. It's it's a busy university. The students are finishing up their final semester, projects, etc. But you should not be disturbed. They're expecting you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
As you walk in, and the stairs are immediately there, you walk up and you can see that off to your left-hand side there is a bunch of doors with offices labeled various professors' names. And the first door you see, you note that you are in the School of Biology's area, or the School of Sciences area. My apologies. And you see the door. It says Dr. Miller, Dean of Biology.
All right.
As
This
you
was
walk,
a family resemblance.
this is very much a this is a university setup, as well as most that you've been to. This one actually looks like it might have a little more money than others do. And as you walk in, you see that the office already has 3 individuals in there, and they have been chatting. They're kind of just sitting around, making small talk, and The one stands and he says, it's a pleasure to meet you all. I am Dr. Conrad Miller. I'm the Dean of the Department of Biology. He points to his left. Another older gentleman. He says, this is Dr. Jeremy Manson. He's a professor of abnormal psychology. And to my right is the president of our college, Dr. David Adelson. It's a pleasure to meet you all. And before I begin, can I trust that you're all capable of exercising some discretion regarding what we're about to discuss?
Oh, most definitely, my friend. I've been under many non-disclosure agreements in the past, and I've honored all of them flawlessly.
That's
We won't
reassuring.
ask you to sign any documents. Our friend Mr. Marks spoke highly of you, and that is... Well, anyway, thank you. I believe once you've heard what we have to say, you'll agree that this is a delicate situation, but the university definitely wants to help out this individual. Dr. Manson speaks up, the head of abnormal psychology. He goes, yes, yesterday I was contacted by Constable Clark of Coldwater Falls. It's a small farming town west of Arkham, about 800 or so, and he said he'd been in touch with every sanitarium from here to New York, and there's not an empty bed to be found. So, apparently, he's holding a man in his jail exhibiting some rather extraordinary behaviors.
Probably DTs.
Dr. Miller speaks up. He goes, extraordinary indeed. The man believes he's some kind of werewolf. He's
Different than dog.
he's suffered.
We were told he was under the
Complete and total
impression he
psychotic break.
was a... Does he have moments of lucidity where he seems to believe he's a man and is waiting to transform into the... How does his condition present?
Werewolf.
Dr. Manson speaks up and he goes, the delusion is complete and total. He walks on all fours, won't speak a word. He even eats out of a bowl, refuses utensils, not a shred of human behavior left to him. And apparently defecates in the cell chamber.
The closest thing I can think of that is similar to this is a claim, perhaps during the medieval times in Europe, when people thought there were werewolves, and it's possible that they had just ingested some rye bread that had a fungus growing in it with hallucinogens.
Oh, yes.
Fascinating.
Well, Dr. Manson continues. He says, but it get worse. Apparently the man attacked a young girl before he was discovered. They found him... Well, he was gnawing on part of her leg when they found him.
Oh, heavens.
Apparently they identified her by the remains of her favorite blue sock still on her foot.
Oh.
So he had killed somebody.
Well, that is how it appears.
The situation's a dire one.
Indeed. The university, if we were to be able to help this man and identify the causations and what is regarding this, it's Dr. Manson, he says, currently we've got only a few beds available to help those in need, and we would be able to justify going to our donors and alumni, seeking even more funds to further develop our psychoanalytic department. If we could, it's no secret, if this turns out well, the Boston Globe will pick this story up, and Miskatonic University's psychoanalytic department will look great. On top of that, I don't think the sheriff quite knows what to do with this man. So,
well, he's certainly going to continue to be a nuisance as long as he remains in this state, at the very least.
Indeed. We would greatly appreciate it if you could examine this werewolf, investigate his history, the origin of his delusion, and between two published authors and a brilliant scientist, I would hope that you would be able to prepare your findings in a well-written manner, and we could have it presented. And of course, Miss Patty, you are the one that we would hope be able to charm some of the locals into actually talking about their neighbor who now feels they are a werewolf. We can loan you our 4-seater Model T sedan so that you could drive out there. Coldwater should take you... Coldwater Falls is approximately 60 miles west here of Arkham. So that'll take you a good 2.5 to 3 hours to drive.
Will you be sending the doctor with us?
No, I need to stay at the facility. We are nearing the end of our semester, and I need to be here for the students.
Well, I can do my best, but maybe you can provide me with some medical supplies if we are to conduct any biological examination.
Oh, sure. If anything you need, we can certainly help you out with that.
Fantastic.
I will say, if all goes ducky, then hopefully we can walk away from this situation sans a werewolf and having regained a useful member of society. But should the worst come to pass and we cannot suss out the source of the man's delusion, do we leave him there, or would you prefer we bring him elsewhere for treatment? Would you recommend anywhere in particular?
Going to put him in the trunk of the sedan, just throw him
Tie
in.
him up.
Besides,
This is
there's a
a-
werewolf in the trunk. Don't worry about it.
This is a man whose madness led him to eat a small girl, and we're supposed to treat him psychologically, and then it's just berries. He's reintroduced into society.
Oh, of course not. He will need a great deal of treatment, but we need to understand what is going on and give us some time to allow the locals to know that their trouble is being taken care of and treated seriously, so that they do not feel like this problem is being ignored, as well as the folks of the community. They don't want to believe this man killed this little girl. So
They don't want to believe.
well, this man has lived amongst them his whole life, and
He's never shown any violent predisposition?
the sheriff did not provide me with all of the details, but he did say that this situation was shocking. As Mr. Emerson has suggested, it is well known that this man drinks quite a bit of moonshine, but drinking moonshine is a far cry from
walking around on all fours and defecating in the corner.
Yes, and eating from a bowl, drinking from.
I can only imagine. Ugh.
Well, you can't give a man like that full moonshine.
Not in the state he's in, no, but
I believe they've deprived him of his moonshine.
just as well. We'll have to get him some new moonshine when he's done. As it is.
Do they know what effect taking away a man's alcohol has on him? It can cause madness in itself.
This is true. He could just need a good snifter, but it might be worth our while to assess that as one of a few possible causes.
We'll just pour it in his bowl. It'll be fine. We'll see if it works.
He'll lap it right up. It'll be a treat.
Indeed. Well, I think that's where we're going to call this one for a night. Next time, 2 weeks hence, our intrepid investigators will head off to Coldwater Falls and determine if they can figure out if Harlan Dupree is truly a werewolf, or what else is going on. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. If so, please check in and watch the rest of our shows here. On Monday we have On the Backs of Gods. Jillian is our dungeon master there, and she is really trying hard to freeze her players in the middle of the Nordic Arctic lands. On Wednesday, yeah, you'll get them. On Wednesday, we have Roll Incorporated in the fertile lands of Nari. That is a pretty fun show. We've got high fantasy there. On Fridays, we have the Legends of Theia. That group is it's a big old drinking party, and I think they're trying to help some dwarves at the same time. Although I heard that they're keeping one of their players hostage at the same time also, so that seems kind of fun. And then a week from today, Vampire the Masquerade will launch its first episode. So, thanks for joining us, folks, and have a great night. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful night, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.
Hey, it would be good if I knew how to do this. There we go.